Hello, and welcome to the Business Growth Show, where I interview successful entrepreneurs on all areas of business and how to utilize them for exponential growth. My name is Nathan Cassiotis. I'm a business growth expert, investor, and international speaker, where I help business owners grow and scale to create wealth and freedom. Today, I have an awesome guest. His name is Jon Binnie, and he's a clinical reflexologist, mindfulness meditation teacher, and quantum energy healer. And Jon began meditating every day in 2017, where he revolutionized his life. And in 2024, he left his 26-year-old career in software development to follow his passions in well-being. And Jon qualified as a Mindfulness Now Teacher in 2023, and in 2024, completed his Practitioner Diploma in Clinical Reflexologist training coursework in Reflexology Distinction and Physiology Merit, and also provides mindfulness meditation services to global corporations and runs a weekly mindful leadership podcast. And since 2020, Jon has developed his quantum energy healing services through hundreds of sessions for clients around the world. This includes a wide range of techniques, including chakra scanning, energy clearing, past life healing, talking with spirit guides, and psychic ability development. And since January 2024, Jon began teaching his quantum energy healing to people around the world, including Reiki healers, psychics, tarot readers, and life coaches. Welcome, Jon Binnie, and thank you for being on the Business Growth Show.
Oh, thank you. Hello, hello. It's an honor to be here. Thank you, Ethan.
Yeah, you're welcome, mate. I'm sure it's going to be an awesome show for everyone listening today. And I love these different type of topics that gets us to, raise our awareness and what's possible out there. And you are a successful entrepreneur. And for those who don't know who you are, just introduce yourself by telling us a little bit more about you and your journey.
Yeah, thank you. And thank you for the introduction. It's incredible to hear it back. There's a past version of me thinking like one day I will be that Jon. Um, so yeah, I live in Scotland. I was as you mentioned, I was 26 years in software engineering and also artificial intelligence. And my last company was working for a household name as a global corporate, doing artificial intelligence in recruitment and doing it in a fair and responsible manner. And that was all going really well. And I was, building lots of teams and new products and services. And I started meditating each day in 2017, and that very first meditation experience for me just blew my mind. I saw like the creation of planets and stars, and I'm like, whatever this is, it's just so cool. And I think it might be free. And I remember asking my teacher, I was like, can I just do this like every day? She said, yeah, just do the same thing we just did, just 10 minutes every day. And I quite quickly started writing songs based on what I was receiving through my meditations, and I haven't stopped writing songs every day since then. I just released my 155th album. I think it's over 2,400 something songs, and that turned out to be the kind of side hustle of a side hustle. But it took me on a journey to also start practicing and exploring quantum energy healing, starting with energy clearing for people. And I just started learning on the job, like just doing a couple of sessions each week. And as I grew in both customers around the world and started to begin to teach others, I realized that maybe I should think about leaving my corporate job, my career, and just step into this new business, like to really just own my life. I love traveling with my family most weekends. We have plans for my wife and I to tour Europe and around the world. We love camping, and we love that flexibility and the work-life balance. And it feels like everything just kind of slotting into place. And frankly speaking, a big passion as well has been stress, anxiety, and burnout, a lot of which I experienced quite acutely 2 years ago. And that was a driver for me to think, well, there must be more to life than me just burning myself out. And perhaps as I saw others struggling around me, that I could help others too.
Yeah, awesome, mate. I love that. What a journey and yeah, amazing experience that you've had. And I love this. You're just like, yeah, can I just do this every day and make that happen? And I love the commitment side, right? Because I think a lot of people don't commit as well. And once you do commit, and the amount of songs and just amount of mindfulness that you would have is amazing. So I love that journey. And I guess let's talk about like the transition, because I think this is a really big point, right? You were in that job for a long time, in that industry, let's say, in a variety of jobs, and then you were like, nah, that's it. Started learning some things, or I've gone down this path. Now's like the time. So do you want to talk about just what helped you to make that decision, that commitment, to then allow yourself to really, I guess, do what your soul's here for, or what you really wanted to do?
Yeah, thank you. Um, so if I rewind a couple of years where it kind of all started, where I was suffering the most from stress and anxiety, and frankly speaking, I knew that it wasn't really the company's fault. Um, and I knew that that kind of made it worse. And like, it didn't matter which company I worked for, I would take all my problems with me, my hunger and desire for, job titles and money and building more teams and earning, the company more money and all these things I would just take with me. And I knew that the change had to happen within me first. And I did start to change. I started to bring my music and meditation into work more, on the company directory, of which there was over 1.8 million people on it. I just put Jon Binnie, my mission, raise the vibrations of billions of hearts. I write a song every day inspired through my daily meditations. And it was really funny. You get a lot of people inviting you to meetings, and I would say, I watched your videos, or it would trigger those that were interested, would trigger that excitement in them. Um, I also started taking more of myself to work. I started playing songs at any opportunity, including just over a year ago, I was over in Seattle at the headquarters, and I was doing like a big director presentation, and they would come around and they would see each of our team stands, and there was just a couple of us on each demonstrating our AI technologies. And then whenever someone came over, I chatted to them for a little bit, and I was wearing a guitar around me, and they said, "Oh, what's the guitar for?" And I said, "It's because I'm going to improvise you a song." And they said, "Oh, what's it going to be about?" And I said, "It's going to be about you. I'm just going to create you a song right now." And a few people had said, "That's impossible. You can't do that." And I was like, "I'm not going to argue. I'm just going to do it." And so I say, "I'll just do it." So I sang to them. Um, and then at the end, they would say, "Where did you get all the lyrics?" So you just told me all the lyrics. You just told me where you're from, what you're interested in, like what you like about the technology, what your sorts of questions you'd like for the future, and I just sing about that. And it's as easy as that. Um, and it just really helped touch people. And I started to realize that there was this, I guess, there's a kind of fork in the road, right? Which was the company could be a place that I could very gradually continue to be myself and impact others. And being a very big company had opportunities. Like I started running mindfulness meditations each week at work, and I started doing projects for specific teams that needed specific help with stress and anxiety. But I felt like I could do more and reach more people. And I also wanted more change in my life. And so I started to think about the vision of what I really want, because I also realized that there's a whole unit, like there's an infinite universe of all the things you don't want, right? And then there's a much smaller, much more finite universe of at least the things you think you want. And so I started to write a little vision, and I have it on my website when you go into About Me, because I want it to be public. I want everyone to know what Jon Binnie's mission is. And yeah, for me, it's all about helping people on their awakening journeys that are going through any kind of metaphysical, spiritual experience, or just looking for help with their stress and anxiety. And I've written that out, some sort of not just like a product and service vision, but my life is in there too. You see, like the things I want work-life balance, travel with my family, all these things. Because I feel like if I earn billions of dollars and then like we're just really unhappy, it would be such a failure. It was like I could have just done that somewhere else. I could have gone to a company. And yeah, the transition for me was an exploration into these different streams. I have tried things and dropped them. The things that have stuck have been mindfulness. I still do it every day, and I love teaching it. I experimented. I'd never had a reflexology session before. My wife suggested, "Well, why don't you train in it?" It seems like it's a great way of getting me out of my studio here and getting me into face to face with people. And it's foot massage, right? So you get to connect with the whole inside of the human body. And that was a fantastic experience. And then, yeah, I finally plucked up the courage. I did in January resign from my job, and everyone was really shocked, which is lovely. It feels like it's a good sign. But yeah, it took a lot of courage to get to that point. And as soon as I made the decision, it's easy to be skeptical and think that the universe is working to somehow destroy you, because that's how it feels when you're in a kind of broken version of yourself or a broken paradigm that you're chasing, or you're chasing happiness outside of you when it's always inside of you. But as soon as you align with yourself and say, this is the path, this is the thing I really want to do, my heart feels genuinely excited about it. As soon as that happens, the universe is like, I hear you. Like, you finally did it. You did the scariest thing that you're the most scared of, John. And I was scared for 2 years. And you stepped into your dream and you followed it. And ever since then, just incredible things happened that you couldn't really explain, right? You couldn't, if I had a manager, I couldn't explain to them, well, I have this vision, and now that I've taken the leap towards it, I just love every day is just this huge opportunity to receive more abundance, like both financially and time and connection with my family. I've taken three vacations in the last 3 months. We've got 2 weekends of camping booked. It's just this like really lovely balance, and the things that you receive are even more incredible, wilder than your wildest dreams if you just allow them once you align with your heart's path.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing that story. That's amazing. I can definitely relate to it where I was very stressed for like my final year with a change of management. And then I did the very risky thing, quit my job, started my first business the next day, and had a few months of pay there. And but you trust yourself, you back yourself, right? Like you did. And then things happen and you create what you want from there. So awesome, mate. I can definitely relate. And when you're on the right path, then everything works, and you're creating that freedom, right? And abundance, which I really love as well. So let's talk a little bit more about meditation. So a lot of people know about this. Obviously, you're doing it in a corporate sense as well, that every company realizes there are benefits scientifically for it. So I guess a two-prong approach. Number one, what are some benefits just for people that may be a little bit unaware of meditation? But also, do you want to maybe give a little simple example of someone? Because there's a lot of different types of meditation, right? That I hear out there, and maybe something simple about what people can do just to be mindful as well.
Yeah, of course. Oh, where do I start meditation so much? I feel the if I think about the problems that it helps solve and then some of the benefits, like the problems that meditation can help you with is just a whole range of things. And yeah, you're right, there is scientific backing, in our modern Western world, and it's been around for somewhere between 2 and 4 thousand years, and we don't really know, like we're not really sure how long it's been around. There's not a lot of records about how long people meditate for. But the problems that people often go to meditation to help with are improving your attention, your focus, clearing your mind of like unnecessary worry and anxiety. So there's studies that show reducing stress and anxiety. Um, there is the ability to lower your blood pressure, to be able to help you like connect with your body and just sometimes just simply relax and unwind. And if you're someone, if you're watching this and you just find that your days are just packed, maybe even back to back with meetings, or you're like you're just full on like all the time, and you're highly caffeinated, and you're like your adrenals are like you're running on adrenaline like constantly. That like 10 minutes each day of meditation, and it does help. As you said earlier, Ethan's like have a regular practice. If you have a regular practice, even, and I just meditate at least 10 minutes each day, it has this massive effect. I do it first thing in the morning, just after a morning run, and it just sets me up for the day because my mind is, and it's one of the kind of reasons that it works is because for the very reason that people get a little bit worried about trying it. Because I guess is this perception that you need to have a completely clear mind. I'm going to just sit there and it's like, it's just all perfect. And my mind is, it's just like meadows and unicorns and rainbows. And whilst it is sometimes, more often than not, just like this morning when I was meditating, I can't remember the examples. Oh yeah, I must write my newsletter today. And I was like, that's in my calendar. Like I was just like, and it just as these thoughts come in, I just allow them. It's like newsletter, that's right, newsletter. See you later, newsletter. And just you just allow them to, observe them and just allow them to flow by. Instead of this, we're constantly like on our phones and we're constantly in this kind of very kind of primitive like caveman type approach to the way we're living. Mindfulness helps you just step back out of that, but also connect with your body. And if I talk about like a couple of my couple of top tips for mindfulness and also meditation is taking 3 deep breaths. And there's this saying that if you don't have 10 minutes in a day or 30 minutes in a day to meditate, then you should meditate for an hour each day until you realize that it's more than enough. Um, so yeah, the first thing I do, and you can join me if you wish, Ethan, and also whoever's listening just now. So we're going to take 3 deep breaths. So just join me as we breathe in through the nose, nice and deep. Hold and breathe out what no longer serves, our highest good, nice and loud. Again, breathe in through the nose, nice and deep. And breathe out any stress, anxiety, fear, or shame at this time, nice and loud. And once more, breathe in through the nose, nice and deep. And just feel into your heart and hold that love energy as you breathe out, nice and loud. And you can come back to this moment. It's so easy, right?
Definitely, mate. Love that. Thank you for bringing me back to my body. And yes, I love the 3 breaths thing. I just do that throughout the day sometimes, even just before meetings or things like that. Just to recalibrate myself. In that little moment. That was awesome. Thank you for sharing that. And I love the little tip that you said that basically you're just being with yourself and the thoughts come up, but it's just about allowing the thought to go and just allowing yourself to clear, because it's not about having no thoughts. It's just allowing them to pass and everything there.
Yeah, definitely. Sometimes I imagine just like the river behind you, that I'm like stood on the shore or I'm on the side of like a highway and I just like see, you know, either boats as the thoughts or as the waves. I just allow them, I'm like stepping out, I'm stepping back from those. It's just funny to watch that little human busy mind, and just allow these thoughts to come in and out. And it's okay to feel them a little bit, but you're really trying to just observe and let them go through you. And yeah, I think it brings so many benefits because really a lot of the time your mind, although it's super active, is craving for that calmness. And it doesn't need to be this, it doesn't need to be perfection. When I first started, kind of like today, I would find it hard. Like it's a discipline. And another way of looking at these easy distractions that happen outside of you. Like yesterday, I was meditating in the garden when it was warm enough in Scotland, and there was seagulls squawking away, and there's birds, and it's like, and I started to realize it. These sounds outside of me aren't happening to me; they're happening for me. Like they're like a good way of looking at nature is that it's and the city or wherever you live is that when you enter that space, it's all happening for you. It's an experience that it's trying to show to you. Just like when birds sing, they're not just like singing to themselves; they're singing to you, and it's a really lovely way of connecting with the world around you. Even when it's negative experiences, and they make you feel bad, you're like, it gives you a chance for reflection, and well, how do I feel like that, or what's a lesson I'm trying to be taught here? Should I even live here?
Yeah, I love that. Really true. Yeah, that's what I aim to do during the day. We're starting to get warmer weather here as well in Sydney, and nice days. And I just when I need that little break, I do go out and ground, get my bare feet on the grass, take some deep breaths, and it definitely helps, in that way there, which
Yeah,
is clearing whatever's there, right, and allowing it, to refresh. in between meetings, or whatever I'm doing there. The benefits of working from home, I guess. But you could even do this if you've even at an office right at lunchtime or whatever like that, if you've got a park nearby and things. So yeah, I love it, mate. Really, really powerful. Let's talk about I guess the clinical reflexologist, right? That you've got that background now. Just explain to people, I guess, what reflexology is, and what benefits it could potentially happen, by using that.
Of course. Um, so reflexology has been around for at least a couple of thousand years. There are hieroglyphs on the Egyptian pyramids that show what we think are people doing reflexology to each other. And what it is that it's a foot massage primarily, but also hand massage. And the way it works is that imagine your entire nervous system. So your entire nervous system is connected to every organ across your body, your heart, your brain, everything. And the cool thing is about the human body. So if you wondered, you mentioned grounding. Why does grounding work? It works because all the nervous system, all the electrical energy of your body connects out at your feet. So when you place your bare foot on the ground, you're touching the same nerve that runs all the way up. Obviously, it's through a network, but it comes all the way up to your brain, and it comes to your heart and your lungs and your digestive system and everything. And so what we do in reflexology is we massage specific parts. So if you Google it or you search, you'll see like these foot maps or hand maps, and they'll show you like where where the brain is, just under the big toe, or where the neck is, or where the heart is. And what in reflexology you basically use different massage techniques with your fingers to be able to work through those different areas of the body. And clinical reflexology is where we spend time asking the clients, like, what are their conditions? So, for example, if you came to me with stress and anxiety, I would focus on the brain, the stomach, the adrenals, the pituitary gland for pain. What else would I do? There'd be a few other things I'd look at as well, and I tailor each session to that specific client's needs in that moment. And how it feels when you receive it, it's so hard to describe. It's kind of like if you've received a massage before, it's like having the whole inside of your body massaged. And it can help with the most seemingly unlikely things like, of course, stress and anxiety, IBS, perimenopause symptoms, people that are trying for babies. If you've got any aches and pains, it's so surprising. I've helped people with back pain, and you wouldn't think, like, they've literally lay down on the bed, it's like, my back's so sore, what can you do? And then 40 minutes later, they're standing up and walking off, and it's like, wow, it's incredible. And I don't think today in our modern Western world we fully understand all its capabilities and benefits. But yeah, it is an incredible service. And later I also have been blending it with other services, which has been a phenomenal experience.
Yeah, awesome, mate. I love that. And yeah, I learned a little bit about it, and I should do it a little bit more. My wife keeps asking me to rub her feet and stuff. I said the other day, funnily enough, that I know that there's different points. We've got to look up that graph. And even though I'm not as well as you, right? And then I said, maybe we should get a professional in here, but maybe I can do something in the meantime. So I love that. And yeah, so powerful, because we're all connected in our body in a lot of different ways, just knowing where to use our focus to help alleviate those issues. So let's get into the quantum energy healing side now. And this is a very, very cool topic that I don't talk about that much in my podcast, but I am very aware of a lot of this stuff outside in my life, and I've had a lot of sessions in a variety of things here. So yeah, I'd love to see your thoughts on a few different things. I guess we'll dive deep on a few different ones here to sort of go a little bit deeper. So
Yeah.
firstly, I'll give you a little story, right, of me, and then we'll answer some stuff. So in January, I went to Dubai to see the Real Housewives of Dubai couple, Caroline Stanbury and Sergio Carallo, and spent a couple of days with them, which is amazing. And Caroline said, she's got this particular psychic, right, that she sees for big decisions. And she was telling us about this story that, was amazing. And she gave the details to a few of us, and I was like, I've got an extra day. Let me see if I can book in an appointment. And I went in there, and we did a chakra scanning, and then we did a psychic sort of session there, right? And it was very powerful to go through that there and to know things that people wouldn't know, right? So I think there's definitely, this is all possible for the people out there. Like, I don't know, it's foo-foo, it's woo-woo, or things like that. Quantum physics is now, proving a lot of things, right, in this space, that a lot of this is actually true. So for those skeptical people out there, let's talk about the chakra scanning here, right? About understanding, I guess, what's going on. We've got these different energy centers, right? So do you want to explain, I guess, maybe what chakras are initially, and then how that, I guess, process works and what it can help us with?
Yeah, of course. And I'll just introduce a couple of concepts as well. Like when I first came, there was two things that introduced me to the space. One was after I started meditating each day, I remember watching YouTube videos about people talking about spirit guides. And it's like, I don't know what that means, but the person saying that everyone has them, maybe I have them too. And so in meditation, I started asking, and I'd said the same thing that I'd say today is like, guides, my higher self, and the sources of this universe. What messages do you have for me today for the highest good, love and compassion of all? And then I just sit there quietly and listen. And when I listen, I just say out loud like what I hear. To start with, it was just like, a word like love or something. And I'm like, okay, today's song, I'll write a song about love. And then that practice, I think it took me to about 900 times. So 900 days before I realized I could talk to my spirit guides. Like I was having full on conversations and I was what many people would just call psychic. And I realized I think everyone's psychic. It's just practice and belief. Like you need a belief system, and concepts like spirit guides aren't for everybody, right? And you don't need to believe in spirit guides to be able to do something like reflexology or quantum healing. But the next thing that happened to me was on the quantum healing was that I was I was in a really stressed situation at work. My son was having night terrors, and I was sleeping in his bedroom one night. And I'd booked a friend to do what I now understand to be kind of like a remote Reiki or quite similar to quantum healing. So I was asleep, right? There was as far I didn't even know when it was going to happen. And then all I felt I remember before is that the more stressed I got at work, the more kind of almost felt like I had this cloud around my heart and lungs, like it felt really oppressive. And so the next morning I woke up and I just felt like I'd been on vacation for, I don't know, like, a month. I don't think I'd felt like that in years. I felt so clear. I'd had a terrible sleep and it made no sense. Then I looked at my phone and my friend had sent me this little video saying, I've done your session for you. Here's the video. And there she is talking about, there's all this stuff on your heart. Like, what is all this? Like, you're sitting in meetings and you're absorbing all this negative energy and you're not speaking up. Your heart chakra's in terrible shape. So I'm going to clear it out. And she did. She certainly did. And then the next day I was like, it's real. It's like, it happened to me. What is this? And so I started on this journey of doing sessions for people. And I still haven't studied Reiki. I don't really know much about it. And other forms or even what people may call quantum healing. I have branded my service as that because there are some similarities with it. But yeah, to answer your question, our chakras are the energy centers. They're kind of like the energy organs of our bodies. And we have like a crown chakra for connecting with higher aspects of ourselves and spirit guides and whatever else we want to connect with. We have like a third eye that we can see across multiple dimensions. We have our throat chakra for being able to speak like your entire truth, not just like the little voice in a meeting that John doesn't want to like upset the apple cart, the full thing. Like, no, I'm going to like create my own business, my own world. Your heart chakra, your emotions, and a lot of your superpowers and your abilities, and sometimes like that trauma and the challenges you've had in your life are stored there. Solar plexus for being able to receive and give abundance. Also deep connection with the sun and like self-trust and self-love. And your sacral chakra for your passion, your sexuality, sensuality, creativity, and inner child. and then your root chakra, a bit like the roots of a tree connecting into the earth, and like the lowest, heaviest grounding points, and that they all connect together, and share with each other, and that they have a dramatic effect on the organs, in particular that they're, the crown chakra with the brain, and the third eye with the pineal gland, and the throat with your physical throat. Like there's this physical interaction, just like your nervous system is an electric, version of your third dimensional human body. The chakra system is also sits in the third, but also fourth and fifth dimensions, is like overlaid in the energy body of you. And it's my knowing that like our souls exist within the heart. They sit within the center of the heart, in the heart chakra. And so it's like it's where all these different dimensions of you like converge into this physical manifestation of you. And if you're skeptical about it, yeah, I'd encourage people to explore, having your first session, your first experience. I was asked yesterday by a nurse. They said, how do you do sessions remotely? How is that possible? Like, you do them over Zoom? It's like, yeah, I do them in Zoom, over in person. I also do them if the person's like sleeping, like I was in my first example. And they just said, how is that possible? And I said, well, the universe is not matter first, it's energy first. And as you mentioned, Nathan, like, quantum physics, this quantum reality that we're learning more and more about, it does feel more like we know, like scientifically, we know that consciousness affects energy. And for me, I know that it's consciousness creates energy, creates matter, not the other way around.
Yeah, love that, mate. Love the story behind it. And yeah, it definitely feels amazing once you get those, chakras aligned, and when something that whatever's been holding you back can just, move forward, and doing what you're doing. Let's talk about past life healing now, right? And I'm going to tell you another
Yeah.
story here that I don't think I've said before, where so I was born, some interesting things that my parents told me. I was born with the umbilical cord around my neck, and I was blue. I think I wasn't breathing for the first minute or so when I came out. And then I had the croup from a young age. So this is where my windpipe would go like, smaller than a straw, and I couldn't breathe. And this is from like young age all the way to like 16 years old, right? And I'd have to get in the
Wow.
shower, right, every night and try and get the steam, and I have a vaporizer for many years, right? So it was a big issue with like my throat and things like that from when I was born. And I sort of grew out of it. And then it was interesting. I went to see a couple of different healers because I'm always open to different things. And they looked at my past lives, and they said I was like a Robin Hood character trying to show people a different way and speak my truth. And I was hung for it in a past life. And they had
Wow.
to go through and actually felt it, right? And had to clear that out for me, because I used to have a lot of problems with my throat, clearing it a lot. Now it's very occasional now. I think it's more about just how I breathe properly, because a certain way of breathing, right, with the diaphragm, with throat breathing, that I'm learning better. So it's extremely better than what it used to be. And it was amazing that once that happened, how things changed, and I was able to put myself out there more and say what I wanted to do, and physically, the changes growing up. So that's my story, about past life healing. That it actually is there, and there was a change on me. But I'd love to hear from your side, maybe an experience or some other things that you can share to people about what's possible with it too.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing. And yeah, just holding space for that journey you've shared. It's a really tough experience. And, um, somewhere in our souls, and in our human selves, when there is like this past life wounding, it to me, it reminds me of like quantum entanglement, where there's like these two kind of objects across space and time, still connected, still influencing each other, like they're happening right now, because past lives do, they're still happening. And and yeah, this reflection into this life, like the pattern repeating itself. It's like our souls come into this incarnation and say, that thing is unresolved, and I'm choosing this lifetime with these traumas to fix it. And you're like, oh, great. Of course, you as a human don't know this, right? You're just like la 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 la. Here's my lovely day, and not expecting these things. But it is where our biggest growth comes from. My first experiences of past lives were memories, coming forwards, and it was of all places on a train home from a busy day at work, and it's only a short train, ride of about 25 minutes. And I just remember saying to one of my friends, I was like, I feel like I'm receiving this memory of us doing work together in the Ring of Brodgar. It's like a kind of Stonehenge in the Isle of Orkneys. And I was like, what is this? And then I was messaging her and I just started typing away. And this whole like movie kind of played out. And I wrote a 8 or 9 minute song based on what I'd written, called Eternal Now. And it was incredible. Like we worked together doing work at these sacred sites, like at Stonehenge and at Ring of Brodgar, and we're actually shutting them down, more similar to what you see of them today, but they are starting to activate again. And this, like, to me, I didn't know any of these concepts. It's like, what's a sacred site? Like, what do these sites really do? What are they there for? Which is fascinating, because even in modern science and archaeology, we don't really know what they're for. And so I became really intrigued, and I wanted to experience past life experiences. So I did receive a couple of sessions from people, and I thought they were really powerful and interesting. And I'd say most of my personal experiences have been through remembrances. And now I can remember, like, from my early soul memories. And every now and again, I'll do a YouTube video and it's like my resume. I'll go like, here's my past lives, and I'll try and remember them all. I should really write down a timeline. But what I do with clients is I either go to like the Akashic Records, or I go through like a portal in space and time with the client, and I go there with them wherever they end up. So wherever it is in the universe, across space and time, whether they're human or not, and whether it's in a high vibration or low vibration uh, realm, I will go with the client. And the reason that we go is often because we're guided to this pattern. So it might be something like, they're a problem with the heart. It can be a physical thing, like your shoulders aching, or like you say, a lot of people struggle with throat, or the solar plexus, just below the rib cage. And a lot of it I'd call like witch wounds, where we've been persecuted for using our gifts and abilities, and we would be, sadly, would be murdered with those body parts being affected the most, and that there was trauma that our soul stored and wanted to come back into this lifetime and help address. And so I often visit the lifetime with a client, and you can see it all, you experience it all, and it's just fascinating. Every time it blows my mind, the year, the place, what were they wearing, what did they do, what was their family like, and to allow the client to ask questions, as I am so practiced at seeing it and experiencing it so clearly. And depending on how practiced the client is, they can also, I just did one last night, the client could see everything I was doing. And it was, if you ever wondered whether it was real or not, they were like, they were picking up, like, it was like a fragment of their heart, and in a past life. And they described it exactly as I saw it. And vice versa. We were saying things to each other, and we were experiencing them before each one of us spoke. And there's just this magical, mysterious aspect to the work, where you feel like the universe really wants you to come back. It's almost like the soul knew this could happen in this lifetime, that you could do that past life healing. And the difference that it has on you in this lifetime is, I think, like you were saying, Ethan, it's like it gives you such context. For my client last night, they were just their heart was just felt so much more whole, and they felt a lot less fear, and they do a lot of incredible artwork, and they felt like really connected with that. They felt like, I don't feel scared about what I create now. I feel empowered, and I feel a lot less resistance to taking it to galleries and selling it online and getting people to interact with it and tell my story about it. And, these things can change people's lives. I know that some of my past life experiences have fundamentally changed my understanding of the universe and aspects of my life. But it can also be as simple as you've got aches and pains that you don't know where they came from, because these can manifest. Although yours like happened early in life, they can manifest at any time in your life, and they kind of come out of nowhere, or you have a kind of repeat accident, like the pattern happens again. You know, like if you're run over in a past life, you might be run over again by a car in this life. And you're like, oh, like what? I've got all these aches and pains, but they're not healing. Like what's the story here? So yeah, it is incredible. And also this concept of time, and that's why I call my healing quantum healing, is because it's all past, parallel, present, and future. It's all happens at the same time. And there are ways of accessing all of these using either you can go through the Akashic records. I use some other techniques for like raising your vibration to shift you to different levels to take you, like, for instance, to your future life, or the lower realms where it's like parts of you that you're trying to suppress, like your shadows that seem to be creeping at the bottom of my camera here. Like if it's the parts of you that you're trying to hide from yourself, we can go there and help with that healing as well. So yeah, it's an amazing job to have.
Yeah, awesome, mate. I love it. Thanks for sharing all of that. And yeah, very powerful process. So I definitely recommend, people that are, whether you're skeptical, have a go, right? You know what I mean? Or whether you're open to this stuff, which I think everybody should be. I think it's always good to give most things a go at least once. And then normally you're like, wow, that actually makes a difference. What else can I do? Let's do more of that. Or what else in the tools can we do to help us shift, whether it's in the present or, in all those moments in time and collapsing time. I got told about like that, like you said about our consciousness or intention creates the energy, and right, and then the matter. It's like there's all these potential out there, right, with the double slit experiment of what is possible right now. So it's like get collapse time and just create what you want, right, in that particular
Yeah.
moment. So it's a really, really powerful thing there, mate. And yeah, you shared so much gold, with us today in all these different areas, and it's been a pleasure. I guess just as we're starting to wrap up, what one key piece of advice would you like to give to everyone watching and listening today?
My advice is to just take some time each day, even a couple of minutes. It could just be the 3 deep breaths, and just take a moment to connect with your heart, your body, and ask yourself how you're doing. And if you see an opportunity to demonstrate to yourself that you can love yourself more that day, ask yourself what it is. It could be as simple as just saying, I love you, insert your name. I love you, John, in the mirror each morning, which I always laugh at myself when I say it. But yeah, as simple as that, these things can change your life.
Yeah, awesome, mate. Love it. Completely agree there with yeah, all of that what we can do to ourselves. And yeah, we connected through our networks. I learned about your awesome journey from, your senior leadership career, 26 years in software engineering and artificial intelligence development, to now being, clinical reflexologist, mindfulness meditation teacher, and quantum energy healer. And all this, is very impactful on life as well as business, right? And what being ourselves to then be able to create and the impact that we want. So I love the work that you're doing and that you're on your path, so to speak, to make that impact. And awesome, amazing guy, and sure you'll continue to help people, yeah, step into their dream lives by achieving their dream business goals as well. Very grateful that we connected, and I look forward, to working with you. So yeah, John, how can people, yeah, find you and get in contact with you?
Thank you. Thank you for your kind words. Yeah, you can contact me. Just visit jonbinnie.com. That's the best place. You also catch me on YouTube every Monday and Thursday, where I do a couple of hours of uh, free/donation based healings for people and past life readings and whatever you'd like. And yeah, there's details on my website, or you can also visit me on Jon Binnie on YouTube.
Yeah, awesome, mate. Definitely check out John, the website there and YouTube. Some amazing resources to learn more about him. And yeah, it's been a pleasure interviewing you, John, and thanks for being on the Business Growth Show.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for watching and listening to the Business Growth Show, where we talk about everything on business growth. And please like, subscribe, and leave us a 5-star review. You can find me on LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube as Ethan Cassiotis, or visit my website, ethancassiotis.com. And if you want to grow and scale your business, you can reach out to me on any platform to see if we're a good fit. So until next time, remember that our business grows where we learn skills and take action using them in spite of fear. So let's create wealth and freedom together.